The horizon's wake drifted through the silent dark like a lone lantern in an endless ocean. Its polished hull carried the scars of a dozen past battles, thin scorch marks, running across the plating like claw lines from some forgotten beast. Inside, Captain Mara Ellison stood on the command deck, her hands clasped behind her back, eyes locked on the shimmering starfield ahead. She had felt uneasy all morning, a quiet weight in her chest that experience had taught her never to ignore. Nova, the ship's AI, materialized beside her in a cascade of blue holographic light. "Captain," she said, her voice calm but tinted with something Mara did not like, concern. "We've intercepted a long-range distress signal. Origin, uncharted territory beyond the Persid Rift." Mara frowned. "That region's dead space. No colonies, no stations, nothing that should be transmitting." Nova's projection flickered in agitation, and yet the signal exists. The deck shifted as Mara took a slow breath. The rift was infamous. Gravity storms, broken physics, ship disappearances. The kind of place humans usually avoided unless they had death wishes or treasure maps. But something about the signal gnawed at her. She motioned to Nova. "Put it through!" The audio crackled to life like a ghost waking up. "Oh, Eth. Help! They're burning us alive! Not human, God, they see us! Anyone, please!" Then came a sound that froze everyone on the bridge. A deep, metallic roar that did not belong to anything natural. Sergeant Jax Rourke, leaning casually against a support beam, straightened so quickly he nearly dropped his ration bar. "That didn't sound friendly." Beside him, Dr. Elias Vorn's four eyes widened, all irises contracting at once. His voice trembled. "Captain, that tone, that frequency, it resembles Dreth hunting calls." A silence heavier than vacuum settled over the bridge. The Dreth, galactic nightmares, conquerors of whole systems with nothing but brute force and an insatiable hunger for domination. An enemy that should have been light years away from this region. Mara's heartbeat steadied, not out of fear but out of instinct. Her crew watched her the way soldiers on ancient Earth watched generals, waiting not for orders but for courage. "Navigation," she said quietly. "Set course for the signal origin." "Full burn." The young pilot hesitated. "Captain, that's straight into the rift." Mara turned her steel-gray eyes toward him. Calm, unwavering, fearless. Someone out there is alive, and humanity doesn't ignore screams in the dark. Jax grinned, slamming a fist into his chest plate. "Damn right we don't." As the horizon's wake surged forward, the stars stretched into white lines and the great black mouth of the Persid Rift opened before them, swallowing the ship whole. Gravity warped, space folded. Hull plating groaned like a dying creature. Alarms flickered, and then, through a window of swirling cosmic turbulence, the crew saw it. A shattered alien convoy drifting among ruins. Ships torn open like metal carcasses. Fires burned without oxygen. Bodies floated gently in the glow of shattered engines. Elias whispered, "This wasn't a battle. It was an extermination." Nova's voice crackled again. "Captain, I am detecting movement." Mara narrowed her eyes. "What kind of movement?" Nova projected a tactical map and a cold chill spread through the deck. "Multiple signatures," she said. "Non-human, large, fast." Jax rested his hand on his rifle. "Well, hell, looks like we've got company." Mara stepped forward, her voice sharpening to a blade's edge. "Ready weapons. Shields up." The ship lights dimmed, the engines roared, and for a heartbeat all was silent. Then, out of the debris field, something enormous moved. Its form obscured, its presence overwhelming. Its roar echoing through the comms like the promise of death. And Mara whispered the words that would change everything. "Contact." The creature emerged from the drifting wreckage like a nightmare peeling itself out of shadow. Even through the reinforced glass of the command deck, Mara felt its presence, heavy, deliberate, predatory. It moved on four jagged limbs, each plated with obsidian armor that glimmered beneath emergency strobe lights. Its elongated skull split open horizontally and vertically at once, revealing layers of serrated teeth and a dripping maw that hissed in the vacuum of space. Dr. Elias Vorn's voice cracked as he whispered, "That is not a Dreth soldier. That's a scythe beast, bred only for planetary purges." Jax Rourke squinted at the screen. "Seriously? We're opening with the nightmare-level boss already?" Mara didn't blink. "Focus, Sergeant." The sensors chimed sharply, one alert, then three, then five. More heat signatures flickered into view. Dozens, then hundreds. Silhouettes of colossal predators moved among the shattered ships, stalking the debris as if sniffing out fresh prey. Nova flickered into existence, her holographic form dimmed by processing strain. Captain, these readings are inconsistent. There shouldn't be this many scythe beasts anywhere, let alone outside Dreth territory. Mara clenched her jaw. Unless the Dreth aren't just expanding, they're migrating. Elias turned toward her, his violet skin paling. Migrating? But why? Their empire is stable. Which makes this worse, Mara replied. They don't migrate unless something bigger is pushing them. A quiet tremor ran through the ship as one massive beast slammed into a floating hull, fragment near them, shredding it like paper. The crunch of metal was loud enough to rattle panels on the horizon's wake. Jax, Mara said, her voice low but steady. You're on defense teams. I want launch bays sealed and gun crews on standby. With pleasure, he said, already cracking his knuckles as he headed for the lift. Nova's voice dropped to a near whisper. Captain, one of the distress transmitters appears to still be active. Life signs faint but consistent. Elias's eyes widened. Someone survived this? Mara turned sharply. Location? Nova projected a holographic map. Faint blinking dot pulsed from a torn cruiser half-lodged into a dark asteroid field. But another warning flashed over it. Bright red, pulsing with urgency. Danger, multiple hostile contacts on intercept course. The scythe beasts had noticed the horizon's wake. They were turning toward the humans. Mara felt adrenaline sharpen her focus like a knife. Weapons! On my command. But the ship wasn't waiting. A beast lunged, jaws snapping open wider than physics should allow. Nova! Mara barked. The AI flared bright, then the ship jolted violently, sideways as the engines fired at maximum thrust. The scythe beast claws scraped along the shields, sparks erupting like blue lightning. Direct hit, Nova reported. Shields at 84%. Elias grabbed the railing, trembling. Captain, if they swarm us, we won't last. Which is why, Mara said, leveling her voice into iron. We're not going to fight them head-on. She pointed at the blinking beacon, the lone survivor, who somehow outlasted a massacre. We're going in. Elias stared at her as if she'd gone mad. Into the debris field? It's unstable, gravity pockets, hull shards. We've survived worse, Mara said. Nova processed the trajectory in milliseconds. Captain, chances of safe insertion, 12%. Mara smirked faintly. Then it's 12% more than those survivors have without us. The ship dove. Metal screamed. Gravity warped. Jagged ship fragments spun past like thrown blades. But the horizon's wake threaded through the destruction with near impossible precision. Its hull grazing twisted beams, its engines snapping back and forth under Nova's relentless calculations. Behind them, the beasts followed, crawling across debris, leaping between broken hulls, climbing over the corpses of the very ships they'd destroyed. And then they saw it, the source of the distress call, a shattered escape pod wedged deep within a mangled alien cruiser, still flickering with life support signals. Inside, barely visible through cracked glass, was a figure curled tightly, breathing shallowly, covered in blood and shimmering blue dust. Elias gasped. That's not one of my species. Doesn't matter, Mara replied. We get them out. Nova cut in sharply. Captain, hostiles closing. 0.2 kilometers. Jax's voice roared through the comms. Weapons hot. Say the word. Mara stepped close to the viewport, watching the beasts converge in a tightening ring of death. Not yet, she said quietly. Captain? Jax asked. Mara's eyes hardened, human resolve sharpening into something primal. Let them come. The predators leaped, the ship braced, and humanity, as always, chose defiance over fear. The moment the scythe beasts launched themselves toward the horizon's wake, Mara gave her first command with the force of a thunderbolt. Nova, full burn reverse. Jax, fire! The ship lurched backward as the engines blasted to life, pushing against the vacuum so violently that even the reinforced plating groaned in protest. Jax's gunners unleashed a barrage of plasma fire that lit up the debris field in streaks of electric blue. The front wave of scythe beasts took the hit head-on. Some evaporated instantly. Others shrieked as their armor cracked and peeled. But more poured in behind them, relentless, unthinking, hungry. Shields at 70%. Nova called out. Hold steady, Mara replied. But her eyes were fixed not on the beasts, not on the destruction, but on the small shattered pod lodged inside the ruined cruiser. The survivor inside twitched weakly as if sensing salvation, and danger in equal measure. Elias Vorn moved beside her, his four eyes wide with both fear and awe. Captain, If we don't extract them now, they'll be torn apart. Mara nodded once. Prep a boarding team. Elias froze. We're boarding now? With scythe beasts swarming. We're humans, Mara said, stepping away from the viewport. We don't wait for perfect conditions. Jax's voice boomed through the comms. Boarding team ready, Cap. Doors hot. Mara strode into the launch bay, her boots ringing sharply against the metal floor. Jax stood at the drop hatch in full armor, visor down, rifle loaded with anti-beast rounds that had a habit of exploding inside anything they entered. He gave her a confident grin. Thought you'd sit this one out, he joked. Mara picked up her own rifle. You know me better. Elias arrived last, clutching a compact medical pack. He swallowed hard. I will. Assist with stabilizing the survivor. Jax raised an eyebrow. You sure? This isn't exactly a soft rescue. Elias met his gaze. Nervous, yes, but determined. If someone is alive in that wreck, leaving them is not an option. Mara's lips curved into a faint smile. Good, stay behind me. Nova blinked into existence beside them, her holographic expression unusually tense. Captain, I will guide your path through the wreck, but be warned, structural integrity is collapsing. You will need to move quickly. The hatch doors blew open. The vacuum dragged at them, but their mag boots clamped onto the metallic surface with loud clicks. The three moved forward, weapons raised. As the debris field drifted around them like the remains of a dead civilization, the ruined cruiser loomed ahead, massive, torn, and silent. Except not silent. A deep vibration rippled through its hull, like something breathing. Captain? Elias whispered. I hear it, Mara murmured. They stepped inside through a torn breach in the plating. Sparks flickered from broken conduits, casting long shadows across twisted corridors. The air scrubbers were dead. Every breath was recycled suit oxygen. Nova guided them through the dark. Left turn ahead. Careful. The floor has collapsed in several sections. Jax peered into a gaping hole that descended into pure blackness. Yeah, I'll pass on falling into beast hell. Mara found the pod first, half crushed beneath a collapsed support beam. Its glass was cracked, covered in scratches, some from the crash, some from claws. Inside lay a figure, thin, trembling, pale blue-skinned with bioluminescent patterns flickering faintly across their cheeks. Elias dropped to his knees, scanning rapidly. They're alive, he said, voice breathless. Barely. We need to move them now. Jax wedged his shoulder under the support beam. On three, but a metallic shriek echoed down the corridor. Something was coming. Something fast. Something hungry. Mara's muscles tensed. Elias, get them out of the pod. I need a moment. You don't have a moment. A shape skittered across the ceiling, a blur of claws and black armor. Jax fired, the explosion lighting the hallway. For a split second before the beast vanished again into the darkness. Captain, Nova's voice cut in sharply. Multiple hostiles inbound. Estimated time of contact, 12 seconds. Elias's hands trembled as he freed the survivor, lifting their limp body into his arms. I have them. Good, Mara said, stepping in front of him. Stay behind me. Do not stop. A second shriek echoed. Then a third. The beasts were closing in. Jax cursed under his breath. Hope you've got a plan, Cap. Mara checked her rifle, lifted her chin, and faced the darkness head-on. We make our own exit. The shadows exploded as the first scythe beast lunged, and humanity answered with fire. The corridor erupted into chaos. The first scythe beast crashed against Mara's shields, sending sparks flying and the walls shuddering as if the ship itself were crying out. Jax, Rourke's rifle spat searing plasma bolts that tore through the creature's armor. But two more beasts slid in from the ceiling, jaws snapping, claws raking the metal. Mara's heartbeat synced with the rhythm of battle. Every motion was precise, practiced, and deadly. She moved as if dancing with the darkness, a perfect storm of human cunning and instinct. Behind her, Dr. Elias Vorn carried the survivor, whose faint glow pulsed weakly against the dim light. Every step was a gamble, one miscalculation, and the corridor would collapse, or the creatures would strike. Elias glanced at Mara, desperation and awe mingling in his eyes. Captain, how are we still alive? Mara didn't answer with words. Her rifle barked, her boots slammed against the deck, and she shoved the largest beast into the wall, cracking its exoskeleton. Humans were fragile. Humans were slow. Humans should not survive such encounters. But the Horizon's wake crew was learning the truth Mara had always known. Human stubbornness and ingenuity were weapons no alien species could calculate. Nova's voice interjected, calm yet urgent. Captain, structural integrity in the aft corridor is at 42%. You must expedite extraction. Mara gave a curt nod. Copy that. Jax, cover the rear. Elias. Keep moving. She fired a precision shot that took down a beast leaping from above. Sparks rained like fireflies as it hit the floor with a deafening crash. The survivor stirred slightly in Elias's arms, lifting a fragile hand as if sensing rescue. Their bioluminescent veins pulsed faster, weak signals of life defying the impossible. Elias whispered reassurances, but Mara knew words mattered less than action. The humans reached the launch bay, only to find it blocked by fallen debris and a massive scythe beast. Its glowing eyes fixed on them like a predator savoring the hunt. It crouched, tail lashing, ready to strike. Jax muttered under his breath, I hate this part. Mara's lips tightened into a thin line. She studied the creature, reading its instincts the way humans read a chessboard. Nova override gravity locks. Prepare a zero-G maneuver. Jax, aim for the joints. She leveled her rifle, eyes burning with an icy resolve. Elias, hang on tight. We're jumping. The ship shuddered as Nova executed the maneuver, flipping the launch bay into a near-vertical spin. The beast's momentum betrayed it, sending it crashing against a wall as Mara and Jax leapt, rifles blazing. Plasma seared the air, and the smell of ozone mixed with scorched metal. Time slowed. Human reflexes pushed beyond limits, instincts sharper than steel. Finally, they cleared the debris. Mara hit the manual override and the magnetic clamps latched onto the hull. Jax pushed Elias and the survivor inside the shuttle pod, followed by Mara herself. The hatch sealed with a hiss, and the pod jettisoned into the black expanse of the Persid Rift. Nova's voice filled the pod, soft but resolute. Trajectory locked. Estimated survival probability 76%. Adjusting for external threats. Elias exhaled, holding the survivor close. We made it. Mara rested against the bulkhead, her expression unreadable. We will make it. Humans always find a way. Outside, the debris field erupted as the remaining scythe beasts collided with the horizon's wake. Claws tearing, roars echoing across space. Yet the ship, battered and scarred, held. Humanity's defiance had survived the impossible, and in that moment, Mara felt the quiet surge of pride, a feeling not of victory yet, but of survival, of stubborn refusal to yield. The survivor coughed weakly, eyes fluttering open. Faint violet light glimmered across their skin as they whispered, something in a language Mara didn't understand. But the meaning was clear: hope, relief, gratitude. Elias looked up at Mara, awestruck. Captain, they're alive because of you. Because of all of us. Mara's steel-gray eyes scanned the black expanse outside. The rift still roared, the stars twisted, and danger lurked in every shadow. Yet for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself a single thought. Humanity will never back down. Not today, not ever. And as the pod drifted toward uncharted space, she knew the fight was far from over. Something larger than the scythe beasts was coming, and humanity would face it head-on. The pod drifted through the endless black of the Persid Rift, a fragile beacon in the void. Inside, an alien survivor stirred weakly, their bioluminescent veins flickering like fading stars as Elias checked their vitals with steady, practiced hands. Mara watched the trajectory monitor with narrowed eyes, knowing this wasn't just a rescue mission. Whatever had attacked the survivor hadn't expected humans to come this far, and that miscalculation was their only advantage. Jax warned that their advantage would vanish the moment they left the rift, and Nova confirmed multiple unknown entities emerging at sublight speed, using technology beyond anything in the archives. Instead of fear, excitement surged through Mara. Staring into the swirling darkness, she declared that humanity was not fragile, but the storm no one had anticipated. Outside, the rift twisted like a living thing, shadows moving across shattered debris as massive forms closed in. The survivor whispered fragmented words. Trust, desperate and raw. Nova detected Dreth-grade siege weaponry powering up, giving them less than a 30% chance of survival. Mara didn't hesitate. She ordered a direct warp jump through the unstable rift itself, despite Elias insisting it bordered on suicide. To Mara, the impossible was simply what humans did. As Jax armed himself, Nova forced the warp drive to life, the pod shaking violently as sparks danced. Across the consoles and alien predators, closed in with terrifying precision, Mara gripped the controls and gave the command. The pod blasted into warp, streaks of blue and white, swallowing them as the predators crashed into debris behind them. Thrown off by humanity's reckless audacity, Elias held the survivor close as their eyes widened in awe, witnessing firsthand what humans became when cornered. Through the roar of the engines, Mara spoke the truth that defined them. Humans fight, endure, protect, and survive, and the universe would remember it. Time twisted, then snapped back into place as they burst out of the rift, battered but alive. For the first time in what felt like forever, Mara breathed deeply, and the crew shared a silent acknowledgement. They had done the impossible. They were human. Far behind them, unseen, the predators recoiled, realizing too late that humanity had awakened, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again. The Horizon's wake pod drifted through the silent expanse of space, stars stretching endlessly around it. Mara Ellison stood at the viewport, her reflection overlapping distant suns as she weighed every risk and choice that had brought her crew and their rescued survivor this far. Behind her, the small, fragile being stirred, alive only because humanity refused to surrender. Elias monitored their vitals with steady care, while Jax tinkered with the defensive systems, confident and defiant as ever. Nova's hologram flickered by Mara's side as she reported the predators, retreating beyond sensor range, their fleet in disarray. Mara understood why. The enemy had underestimated humans, believing brute strength and logic would crush them. But humanity fought with will, not predictability. Elias reminded her that the survivor lived because of humanity's resilience, but Mara insisted it wasn't about heroics. Humans endured, adapted, and rose again and again. Jax joked that the universe had picked the wrong species to provoke. Outside, indifferent stars watched as the truth of humanity glowed brighter than any light in the void. The survivor reached out weakly, their alien eyes showing recognition. Humans were more than warriors. They were hope. Mara addressed her weary crew with fierce conviction, declaring that no creature or machine could ever truly intimidate humanity. For humans fought not out of obligation, but out of unstoppable will. Nova's tactical display confirmed that the predators had scattered, leaving a moment of quiet victory. Mara knelt beside the survivor and promised protection, embodying the HFY spirit that defined her people. As the Horizon's wake set course for safety, Mara returned her gaze to the stars. The battle was over, but humanity's story, its defiance, its courage, its rising spirit had only just begun. Somewhere across the galaxy, the universe finally understood. Humanity was not a species to fear, but one to respect and never underestimate.